and not in pain. So lying down might be a great place to practice, or seated in a chair. We want to be tall. If our shoulders are rounding over, it's tough to have a nice functional breath. Take one hand to your belly, and we're going to breathe in and out through the nose. Breathing in and breathing out. Super important to breathe in and out through the nose. And we don't want a forced breath. When we're in pain, very often people are holding their breath or they're breathing really fast. And same thing with stress. Stress, we're either holding the breath or it's really, really super fast. So no matter what, if it feels like you're straining, then we need to think about softening more. Now, sometimes a visualization is nice, like a soft, fluffy cloud, something that makes you feel good, your favorite pillow, cuddling with your pet, something that can help you soften. Visualization works for a lot of people, but not everybody. And let's take our hands to the sides of our rib cage and breathe in and breathe out. So you should feel some expansion, but it might be subtle. It doesn't have to be a big movement. Breathe in through the nose and out through the nose. Take one hand towards your heart and one to your belly. So this is the key part. We want to feel the belly rise first rather than the chest. So breathe in. Notice if the belly's rising first or the chest is. If the chest is, we need to work on bringing it down here. Some people do that by just placing their hands there and giving it a little pressure in. And then you can push your belly out into it. Again, not in a strained way. So breathe in and out and feel that. If you feel it up here first, bring it down here. Give it a little bit more pressure there. I really love lying down when doing this and placing a bean bag on the belly or a rice bag or something so that you can feel the upward and downward motion. Sometimes those weights you put on your ankles, that could be something. You could do something that you can feel go up and down. And breathe in and breathe out. Another important way to direct breath is you could take your hand back here if it feels okay for you and breathe in. This is going to be more subtle, and then breathe out and feel the breath go into your hand. Breathe in and breathe out. It's subtle. It's not a lot, but just even telling your brain to send the breath down there is helpful. And it doesn't always happen right away because we've been breathing a certain way for quite a long time. So it's going to take some time to change. Please be patient with yourself. Okay, so we're going to breathe with movement, mirroring movement with breath. Let's take our arms down by our sides. And then as you inhale, turn your thumbs down and then up, and palms rise upward. Just kind of rotating one way and then the other with your arms. And you can bring them forward. And then let's swim the arms away. And then twist up again. And maybe you go a little bit higher. Maybe not all the way up, right? This is going to be your range of motion. You might make a V. And then let's lower back down to about shoulder height. Good. And then let's press the air away and open it up. Let's do that a few times. So like the breaststroke. Push the palms away. out, that water's just flowing and whirling around you. It's swirling and whirling. That's it. Now, when you go forward, you might feel like your shoulder blades are moving off your back, and they probably are a little bit. And then as you go back, start to bend your elbows and feel your shoulder blades come onto your back and moving towards each other. So pressing forward, out, and away. Press forward, out, and then pull in. Out to the sides and wide towards your rib cage. Yes, just like this. And notice if your arms are getting a little bit tired, that might be happening. We'll do one more. And then place your hands in your lap. Let's do a little cat-cow action. That's usually good for the lower back. So we're rounding our spine and you're leaning towards the back of your sitting bones. And then inhale, we move forward. Generally, this is not painful for most people. So we're waving the spine one way and then the other. We must be cultivating the water element today. I'm kind of feeling that. We think about, well, in Chinese medicine and in Ayurveda, they think about the elements: earth, air, fire, space, and wind. I'm probably missing something there. So one more time, round it one way and then the other. And I'll turn back forward. You don't have to do that turning. Let's start to stretch the neck a little bit. So you're gonna drop your right ear towards your right shoulder. Take a breath in, and you can keep your hand on your belly. And then a breath out. And a breath in. And a breath out. And then gaze down. So forward towards your right breastbone. And notice how that's getting in towards the back of your neck and maybe even towards your collarbone area. Notice where you feel the stretch. Then turn the ear back towards the shoulder and inhale, lift the head up. Let's sit tall and then exhaling, left ear towards left shoulder. And as you take a breath in, you might take your hand there and feel your breath. And you're directing your breath in that area, even though you might not quite feel it there yet. You're saying to your breath, help me stretch this side of my neck. Then let's look down over the left shoulder and notice what you're feeling. Breathing in. And breathing out. And then turn the ear back over the shoulder and lift the head back up. Inhale, arms are going to lift up. Beautiful. Exhale, hands to your hips. Gently pull the elbows towards each other. Lean forward. Now, if you have back pain, you're not going to go as far forward as somebody else. What we're trying to do, though, is keep the lower back curve here. So it's going downward when we're in this kind of position. And you want to see what we call a flat back. The back's not really flat, by the way, but you want to see a flat back. So shoulder blades are coming together and sitting bones and hips are spreading back. Then let's push down through our feet. Rise up, arms up overhead, maybe gazing at fingertips, hands at your heart. You got it. Let's do that again. We'll go a little faster. I just wanted you to see, we're not doing this. We're not rounding forward. Much better. You don't have to go as far, but try to keep your shoulders on your back so it appears like it's a flat back, even though it's not, because we have curves in our back. Inhale, arms lift up. Exhale, hands to your hips. Gently pulling elbows towards each other. Lean about a third of the way down. Take a breath in and a breath out. Push down through your feet, arms rise up, exhale, hands at your heart. Next time we do this, we're going to lift our right knee when we come back up. So exhaling down, inhale, arms lift. Place your hands at your hips. Pull the elbows towards each other. Inhale, arms lift and right knee lifts. You got it. Exhaling, lower down. Let's do the other side. Inhale, arms lift. Exhale to your hips. Lean slightly forward. Inhaling, left knee lifts. Arms are up. Exhaling, release it down. Good. Let's go like this a few times just to keep warming up. Inhaling, arms lift. Exhaling, hands to the hips. Lean about a third of the way. If you want to go a little further because you're feeling warmed up, you can. Lift the right knee. Good. And exhale, place it down. Inhaling, arms lift. Exhaling, hands to the hips. Lean slightly forward. Push down. Rise up. Left knee coming with you. Exhale. Hands to the hips. You got it. We're going to keep doing this, but we're going to add on a different movement. This time we're adding on a twist. Inhale, arms lift. Exhale, hands to your hips. Lean slightly forward. Maybe this time you take your arms out to the side. Push down through your feet and your hips. Right, arms rise up. Exhale, twist towards your right. Now, this can feel good on the SI joint. Usually it does. If it doesn't, please don't do that. Those of you who have any SI, which is lower back on one side pain, notice if this makes it better or it makes it worse. Generally, it can be nice. It helps to put the bone back into place for that side. Inhale, arms lift. Exhale, hands to the hips. Lean forward. Arms up. Exhale, find your twist. Breathe in. Breathe out. Come back to center, arms lift. Exhale, hands to your hips. Lean forward. This time we're going to lift the right leg. Arms out to the side. You got it. Place it down. Arms lift. Exhale, hands to the hips. Lean forward. Other side. You can have your arms up or out to the side. Place it on down. We're now going to add a warrior into this. So it's going to take a little bit more time to get there, but take your time. Do it right. We'll give you that space with your breath. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, hands to your hips. Lean forward, maybe arms out to the side. Push down through your feet. Move that right knee out to the side. Maybe the left leg is long, maybe it's not. Arms rise into a T. So you can have your knee bent like this for warrior two or out like that. We're going to add the reverse warrior in right now. Exhale, lower the arm down. Right arm rises, reach up high. Maybe hand goes behind head to support it, elbows bent. Come back to warrior two. Move your feet back to neutral. That's it. Let's take a cat and a cow. Shoulders come together, sitting bones move back. That should feel like a relief to your lower back. Come back to neutral. Inhale, arms lift. Exhale, hands to your hips. Lean forward. Push down, rise up. Let's find our way to warrior two on the left side. So you take a little more time to get this adjustment here. Inhale, arms lift into a T. Maybe it's just one arm rising, maybe it's both. Let's exhale, find the reverse warrior. Maybe hand behind head. Inhale, arms into a T. Release it down. Walk your feet back towards neutral. Inhale, arms rise. Exhale, hands to your hips. Lean forward, shoulder blades on your back. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, hands at your heart. We're going to goddess pose. Going to goddess. Let's try that a few times, that transition. So you can hold on to the side of the chair, maybe bring one and then the other. One and then the other. Walk that a few times. Now, you're going to go the width that's right for your body, which might be here, and it could be out there, right? Like everybody's different in their hip sockets and also their inner thighs. So go to where it's right for you. And then let's bring it back in because we're going to add this into our sun salutes. We've been trying really hard, if you're in Michigan, to bring that sun out because it's been kind of cloudy out there. Not kind of, it really is. Okay, so bring it on in. Inhale, arms lift. Exhale, arms out to the side. Lean forward, shoulder blades on the back. Push down through your feet, open it up. Then we're going to take our hands to our thighs, lean forward, sitting bones back, circle the shoulders up and back. Breathe in and breathe out. Rise up, arms lift up to the sky. Walk your feet back in. Let's do that a few times. It's because we've got a back bend going there with that cobra with our legs wide, and it's super nice back bend. Lower the arms down. Inhale, arms rise. Exhale, hands to the hips. Lean on forward. Come on up. Walk your legs out. Hands to your heart. Place your palms on your thighs. We're going to walk. You can walk your sitting bones back a little bit. Circle the shoulders up and back. Feel your shoulder blades on your back. You're leaning slightly forward, but remember, we've got that flat back rather than a rounded back like that. So sitting bones are moving back. Shoulder blades are coming together. We're going to push down through our feet. And this time we're going to lift our heels up as we rise. Interlace your fingers forward and maybe upwards towards the sky. Exhale, lower your heels down. Good. Walk it back in. It's time to add a twist in. So if you have a block, bring it with you and place it in. So it's going to be nearby for you when we open it up. So we start here and we inhale and we take our arms up overhead. We're going to add in a side bend too. Take a side bend towards your right. You can always hold the chair with the outside arm. So we're taking a side bend to the right. Now, maybe this elbow stays bent because that's best for you to keep your arm lining up with your ear, because this is not going to be helpful for you when the arm comes forward. So if you're straightening your arm and it's going like that, better to bend your elbow and then find the movement that's more over your head and shoulder. You can always lengthen if that feels acceptable to you. Inhale, rise up. Let's do the other side. Keeping both arms up or one hand on the side of the chair. Shoulders back. Maybe elbow is bent. You can stay with the elbow bent or lengthen as long as the arm is over your ear and head rather than forward. Some people like to take their hands behind their head, and that's great too because it gives you a little spot to press your head into. Rise up, walk your feet out, hands to your thighs, lean forward, roll the shoulders up and back. Now, make sure you're pushing down through your feet and your hips so you don't fall forward in the chair. Take your right hand to the block, your left hand to your hip. Roll the shoulder up and back. And maybe, it's always a maybe, you might lift your left arm skyward. You could also keep the hand at your hip. Take a breath in and a breath out, and a breath in and a breath out. Push down through your feet. We're going to lift our heels. Come on up. Heels are lifting. Mounted toes are pushing downward. Let's exhale, let those heels go down. It's okay to feel a little something. Let them go down. Good. Other side. Inhale, arms lift. Exhale, taking the left hand to the block. Now, if this is too far, I didn't say it on the other side, you can put your forearm on the left thigh and take your right arm out to the side and up. Breathe in and out. Maybe hands behind head, maybe hands at hip. Breathe in and breathe out. We're going to rise up. So push down through our feet. Arms lift high. Exhaling. Hands to our heart. Let's walk it back in. Circle around on your hips a little bit. This is also should feel good on the lower back. It should feel very nice on the lower back. And let's take it around the other way. And just notice the sensation, because this is what makes yoga different, is that we're paying attention to how does it feel in the body. And sometimes it's helpful to close your eyes to really feel it. Come back to center, and we are going to lift off to do some standing. Now, if you feel that you should stay seated, many of these standing poses can be done in the chair with a variation, which I will demo and call out for you. So to come on up, let's practice our chair pose. I mean, really, a day doesn't go by where you don't practice chair pose. We get up and down from a chair, we get up and out of bed, we're practicing this pose. So we might as well think about the alignment of it, the intricacy of it, and feel empowered by it. So we're gonna hug the block, if you have one, or a toilet paper roll, or an exercise ball in between there. And then we're going to rise up. Now you could have a chair in front of you to help you so you can put your hands on it. Maybe you don't come up all the way the first time. So let's just kind of play with rocking it up and down. Yeah, feel the sensation of coming up and down. Feel your core engage. And so once you get up, you're hugging the block with your inner thighs. If you pull your belly in, you tone your pelvic floor and you pull your belly in, that's your core. Inner thighs, pelvic floor, lower belly. Exhale, have a seat. We'll do that a few times just for fun. Take a cough, I'll show you, and feel where it is in your belly, because that's about where your core is. Ready? So you go and really feel that. That's your core. All right, so now let's do it with the chair pose. We're gonna rock, and by the way, and you've heard it before, core, you've heard it before, core is really good for your lower back, right? It supports it. So here we go. We're gonna come on up, press feet down, weight to heels. Maybe hands are crossed in front of you. Maybe you're in prayer pose. Maybe your arms are forwards. Sitting bones are back. Feel your core engage. So pelvic floor, lower abs, inner thighs hugging in. And then we're going to push down this time to rise up. Yes, push down through your feet like you mean it. You can take the block away, but keep it nearby, and let's work towards some standing poses. And we'll start in mountain pose. Mountain pose. So your feet might be slightly wider for balance, or your feet might be just directly underneath your hips. Great place to remind ourselves about posture. So we're not looking for that. A lot of people do that because that's just the way they've been doing it. And I see it in families too. So some people lock their knees back like that. See what happens? My shoulders are coming forward. See if you can keep some softness in your knees. And then rather than thighs or hips forward, think hips back. We're toning hips. We tone our hips by pushing down through our feet and feeling that energy come all the way up through our legs. Then our shoulder blades are on our back. So you can roll your shoulders up and back. When you turn your palms forward, that helps you to bring your shoulder blades on your back. Now feel your head and try to bring the back of the palate back, or they call it the occiput, but I mean, or the, I'm losing, the hyoid bone. If you know where that is, it's a little teeny bone, but it's like you're pulling your chin back a little bit, so it's not going forward like that, right? So pull it back. Sometimes it helps. I've seen a few tricks for this. One is to take your index finger and kind of place it at your chin and then pull back from there. Another one is to take both index fingers and draw a smile with your chin, and that can be helpful too. And so whatever helps you, think about ears over shoulders. Then from here, we will step wide. So you've got your chair by your side. Maybe you've got a wall. Maybe you've got two chairs. You might have a chair in front of you because that's better for balance. So we're pushing down through our feet wildly, actively. Heels are pulling away from each other. That's how we start. Our legs are activated. If you touch them, your muscles are awake. Then we're going to turn the right toes out. Again, push down through the feet. We're going into triangle pose. So first we're tall. That's first. Shoulders are on the back. Then we're going to allow our hips to move to the left as our fingertips go to the chair or to your hand in front of your shin. Now it's real easy to lock your knees here, so better to keep them a little soft. Hands on your hip, roll the top shoulder back, and take a breath in and a breath out. And maybe you lift the top arm and maybe you keep it where it's at. You could have the elbow bent like this or arm is straight upwards. We're pushing down through our feet. We're breathing. We've got a softness behind our knee. We're going to push down through our feet and rise up. Take a little break, but keep your legs right where they're at. Next time we come down, we're going to play with balance a little bit and with where our gaze is. So you've got choices. You can look down, you can look forward, you can look up. Some of you feel like you got this super great balance and you might close your eyes for a millimeter of a second. What I mean by that is very quickly, like the blink of an eye, but only if it feels safe to you. So we're going to tip forward 4. Now our belly's engaged. So we're tipping actually towards the side. I didn't mean forward. Fingertips on the chair perhaps or on your leg. Our core is engaged. We may or may not take an arm up. You can always keep it at your hip. Then you can decide, are you going to gaze forward? See how that is. Then gaze down. See how that is. Now, looking up is a little trickier for balance. So you have to ask yourself, does it feel safe for me to take my gaze up towards the sky? Wherever your gaze is at, breathe in. Breathe out, focus on pushing down to your feet, grounding down. Then we're going to press down, rise up, all 10 toes move forward and jump or walk your feet towards each other. Notice how the body feels now. And let's move towards triangle on the other side. So you've seen these poses before, but what's different is how we focus on them and how our body is entering into them, meaning every day we feel different. So we're going to widen our stance. Widen your stance. Feel really strong in your wide stance. Ask yourself, is this wide enough or is this too wide? Now let's push down through our feet and imagine that you've got a big ball in between your legs and hug the ball so it doesn't drop. So your pelvic floor is pulling up and you're pushing down through your feet. That's the energy. That's your core and your stance. Then turn your toes out towards the chair on the left side or wherever you may or may not have a chair there. You might have it here. We push down, soften the back of the knees, hips move towards the right, fingertips onto the chair. Or back of the hand onto the leg. Check it out. How are the knees? Is there a little buoyancy or a little bend back there? Probably a good idea so they don't lock. Take a breath in and a breath out. Maybe arm lifts. These are always maybes because we have to ask ourselves, how does our body feel now in this moment? You know, some people get scared by yoga, but really this is mindful movement, being present with our bodies and breath. Let's push down, rise up, release your hands for a moment. Let's circle the shoulders around and about, and we'll go back in once again. And this time we're going to play with our vision, looking up, forward, and down. And you can kind of challenge yourself to see how it changes for you, how it feels in your neck differently. Make sure the neck spine is lined up with our spine. Let's go for it. Fingertips towards the chair of your leg, softness behind the knee. Shoulder blades on the back, push down wildly through your feet. Maybe pull the left heel towards the right arch. Feel the strength. You'll feel a toning in your legs and your hips. Maybe lifting the upper arm, elbow bent or straight. Now, I'm gazing forward right now. I'm going to take my vision down now towards right around my it's just forward of the left foot. Gaze there, but the head still stays in line with the spine. We don't want it dropping like that. We want the head level with the spine or lined up with the spine. Now, maybe you gaze up to your fingertips and wiggle them so you can see them. Breathing in, breathing out. Maybe you take your vision back to forward. If you're feeling super balanced, you might close your eyes just for a teeny millimeter of a second. Notice how the body's always moving, right? It feels like a still pose, but it's not. Push down, rise up, all 10 toes forward, bring your feet together. By the way, if it feels like I'm keeping you too long in a pose and you're starting to feel some rigidity creep in, come on out of it. You can always re-enter, but only you know what's best for your body. And I'm just your guide. I am just your facilitator. Let's play with some weight transferring. It's just so super important. And we will play with balance in what's really warrior 3. So for seated, when we take the leg back for warrior 3, you can take your leg forward if you're seated, okay? So you decide, are you seated or are you standing? And here we go. We start in our mountain pose. We're going to take it to wall dog. So if you're seated, you're still going to keep that long spine, and you might take your arms forward to a chair in front of you or forward at a diag. Okay, so here we are. Let's first go to our wall dog. Knees are bent, sitting bones are back. So it's very much similar kinds of alignment. We're going to bend the knees a little bit more though, so we can protect our lower back. Now this should feel good. There should not be pain. But as you push your inner thighs, your upper thighs, and your sitting bones back and up, you're keeping that lower back curve, which is super important. And your head is lifting. It's not lowering like this so you can look through your legs. You want your head to be lifted and lengthening out from your neck spine. Take a breath in and a breath out, and let's walk back towards the chair. So first we're going to do those weight transfers before we go to warrior 3. So in the chair, when we're doing the crescents, you could be doing this pose like this and like this. When we're doing the weight transfers forward and back, or you could do something like this and then this. Okay. So So facing the chair, mountain pose, right foot's forward, left is back. Left is back. Take a nice wide stance. We're not on a balance beam here. So it's a wide stance, and be close enough to the chair where you don't feel like you have to do that. We want to be able to lift our spine tall. Feel that right foot as it pushes down into the mat, and the back heel is probably lifted, but if it feels better for balance, place it on down. So here we are. We're going to play with transferring the weight towards the right foot, and maybe your toe stays down, or maybe you lift the leg so it looks like this. So this leg straightens, little bit of a soft back there, legs lifting. Then, this is only for some of you, you have to feel safe. The fingertips come down to the seat of the chair, and maybe the leg lifts up. Maybe it doesn't. So this is one of these things like, does this look good for you? Or are you like, I don't know about that, right? So then we're going to bring the left foot to meet the right and stand back up in mountain pose. Let's do the other side. That's kind of a new movement. We haven't done it with our torso coming over the back of the chair. So take your right leg back and your left leg is forward, softening, bending through that front thigh. Back heel is up or down. And we've got our shoulders stacking over our hips. If we're forward like this, you probably won't feel a stretch in your back thigh. But if you're upwards like this, you will. Now you can always bend that back knee. That's a nice thing to do too. Breathe. And then think about, we're going to transfer the weight to the front thigh. And you know it's working, right? It might be crying a little bit. It might be whining like, oh, wow, you're really working me. Or maybe it's thanking you for that. We're going to go forward. Maybe lift the toes off just for a moment. Keep lifting up and out of your waist. And then some of you are going to take your hands to the seat of the chair. I'd bring my toes down first. And then maybe lift the leg up. Anywhere from toes down to about hip height. Take a breath in and a breath out. This is a variation of Warrior 3. Let's step that foot down and take a little break with a sun salute, a standing sun salute. Sun, please come out. All right, arms out to the side, up towards the sky. Soften your knees. Take your arms out to the side. Release your hands to either your thighs, maybe one's on the chair, or down your shins. Lengthen your spine forward. Exhale, fold in. Inhale, lengthen forward. Exhale, fold in. We're going to push down through our feet. Arms rise up. Exhaling, hands at the heart. Now we're going to play with Warrior 3 more. So those of you who are seated, you can have your leg forward and maybe one or both arms out to the side. And you can play with lifting and lowering your leg while seated. For us who are standing, we're going to go back to that. It's really Warrior 1, a variation of Warrior 1 position. And we lift tall. And then we're going to play with, so you've got the chair in front of you for balance, or maybe to the side of you. It might feel like to the side of you is better. I'm going to put this slightly forward so you can see what I mean. But if it's to the side of you, you can go like that instead of forward in front of you. So what's better for you? I got to give enough room where you can see. But so we're going to play with lifting the back leg and then coming back. Now, if it feels safe to you, You don't have to use the chair, even though it's there for you. It can look like this. Hands at the heart, soft knee, toes back, maybe lift leg. Notice how my vision is forward and then come back to mountain pose. So with the chair, it looks like this. Lean forward, soft front knee. Some of you might take your arms out to the side. Now, taking your arms out to the side is very helpful for balance. And then come back to neutral. So there's a lot of different variations here. There's hand on the chair, hands at your heart, maybe hands crossed, hands on your hip or hands wide, toe down, toes up. Let's practice the other side. I'm going to put the chair here now. So this is balance practice. Remember, we're gazing forward and down. That's going to keep the back of our neck long when we tip forward. So we're transferring our weight to the front leg, maybe hands at the hip, maybe it's out to the side, and then come on down. Take a little break. So this is where you get to play. You can stay in this for a long time, meaning several breaths. You could stay in for one breath and come on out of it. And so it's that lather, rinse, repeat. So we're forward, pushing down firmly. If you feel like you're wobbling here, make sure that your big toe mound is pushing down. Very key to balance. Okay, so when you feel it wobbling, that means keep your hand on the chair. Give yourself the safety, the feeling of safety to be able to push down and focus on that rather than lifting the leg high up. So one more time, and then release. Let that go. Let's go back and do a wall dog. And we'll find our way down to the earth. So sitting bones back and wide. Breathe in. Breathe out. Pull the ribs up for stability. Maybe you do that cough and you'll feel your core. Sitting bones back, but we know where our core is. Let's drop the right arm and just let it hang. Really hang, maybe draw circles with it as you breathe. And then let's go to the other side. Drop the left one. Right one's back up and make circles. And then hand back to the chair and walk yourself back forward. And let's find our way down to the earth. You know the drill. We got to put the chair safe. Should be on a sticky mat at the very least, something where you know it's not going to slide. Bring your blankets, your blocks, and your straps so you're all prepared. Maybe a bolster is nearby. And then most people like to come down into a kneeling lunge kind of position. And then we'll bring the other leg down and you're gonna land in a weight-bearing pose. Let's do table. We'll start with table. I'm just trying to get this out of the way here. I think you're gonna see it. Try and get it out of your vision. Okay. All right, so here we go. We're in our table pose. You got down safely. And we're placing our palms just right about forward of our shoulders and we're clawing the mat with our fingertips. Now, you know, you could put hands on blocks. A lot of people like that. Or they like to put their forearms down like this. Those are all great solutions if your wrists are sore. Let's let our hips swirl to the right as we gaze to the right. Inhale to center. Let your hips sway to the left as you gaze to the left. And back to the right. and back to the left. Breathe in and breathe out. Come back to center and let's lift the right knee up towards our chest and curl into cat pose. So push down through your feet. Down through your hands. And then exhale, lower your knee towards the earth, but not quite touching. And then pull it back up. Pull the knee towards your belly. Lower it down. Exhale, pull it in. Extend the leg out. Another variation. This is really warrior 3 or spinal balance. Breathe in. Breathe out. Bring the knee back in and do the other side. So exhale, curl in, bring the left knee towards your belly. Might do that little cough as you pull it in. Then lower the knee down, come back to a neutral spine. Exhale, pull the knee in and up. Lower down. One more time. Then we extend the leg long. Feel your shoulder blades on your back. Lower the foot down. And let's find a version of child pose. So to protect your back, you might keep your knees towards each other and come on down like this. Some of you are going to widen your knees, toes together, and some of you are going to walk your arms forward like this. Some of you are going to push your fingertips down and lift your arms up. That's a little bit more active. If your knees are bothering you, definitely need a cushion under there, and you might need a cushion in between your knees and your thighs, like a blanket or a pillow. Breathe in and breathe out in your child pose. Breath is in and breath is out in your child pose. Now we're going to go and do a version of triangle on the earth. It's really good for weight bearing on your shoulders. And you can do this in the chair. I'll show it for a moment just so you can see it. So you can have a blanket under your knee for this one. But let me just show you in the chair quickly, and then we'll go back to the mat. So it looks like this. This is what it looks like in the chair. Oh, there's the birthday boy, Oscar. Hi, Oscar. Here's what it looks like. I'm going to turn this way. So we're in our table. We're going to come up onto our knees. So you might have a blanket underneath your knees. You should just show it like that. Then you're going to extend your right leg out to the side. And that's our first part of this. Now you can turn the toes down like that, or have the heel down and the toes up. Also, you can use a block for your other arm. So this is what it's going to look like. I'm sorry, actually, this is going to go here first. So shoulders up and back, stacking over hips, maybe hands behind your head, or take your fingertips to the block and maybe either left hands to your hip or it's rising up. So this is a version, it's called gate pose actually. And it's a version of triangle on the earth. You might take your arm over your ear if it extends nice and long. If not, keep it bent. Breathe in. Breathe out. Let's push down through that heel and rise up. Now we're going to go from here to more of a side plank pose. And it looks like this. Hands going to go out to the side with the block. Our weight is going to transfer to the left side. And you can have your fingertips down. You can have your hand down. You can have your hand on a block. Notice how we're transferring the weight. The shoulder's going to go towards over the palm. The leg can stay down or it can lift up. Or you can do teeny little pulses here. Teeny little pulses. Keep your ribs back. Breathe in. Breathe out. Let's take a little break. Come back upright. Maybe arms are in a T. Take a breath in and a breath out. We're going to do it again. So hands to block, fingertips to earth, like that. Maybe lift the leg up. Circle the ankle one way and then the other. Do some pointing and flexing. And then we'll lower the leg down. Inhale back into our gate pose. Let's do gate one more time. Taking your fingertips behind your head. Elbow pointing upward. Press down, rise up. And we will do the other side. So take a little break in between sides. You can have a chair in front of you. If that's helpful for you, you can always have a chair in front of you for support. You should always have support. We're going to take the left leg out now and do that variation of triangle. So heels either down or toes are down. Get your shoulder blades on your back. Roll your shoulders up and back. Lift one or both arms. Take your, it's really like a side bend. Feel a nice lengthening through the side of your body. Breathe in. And breathe out. You may be feeling like an inner thigh stretch. Notice what you're feeling. Inhale, come back to upright, and we'll take it towards the side plank, which is really nice for some good weight bearing for the shoulders. And you can walk the block or your hand out. So when you transfer your weight, you end up with the shoulder over the wrist. Leg is down or leg is up. Pushing out through the heel. You might do some little pulses there. Feel how your leg is working. Just teeny little pulses upward, pushing out through the heel. Make sure you're breathing. Take a break if you need to. You can touch back behind your hip and see if it's working too. It's a good thing. And then you'll come back up. Take a little break. Think about if you want to vary this at all. And I'm going to do it fingertips down or palm down this time so you can see that. So here's palms down. Clawing the mat. Shoulders back, right? We don't want the shoulder forward. It's got to stay back. Maybe lifting the leg, maybe taking the arm up, maybe taking the arm up overhead. What variation is good for your body? Let's come on up, bring the knee in. And if it's available to you, go ahead and sit down on your heels. Not everybody can do this. I'm going to show you why it's a good thing, but not everybody can do it. First of all, you could put a blanket down so your toes on the top of your foot have something to push into. You could also take a block or pillows and put them underneath your buttocks. So it looks like this. But what it does is it stretches the top of the ankle, the top of the foot. If you're cramping, come on out of it. You can do this on a chair. I'm going to show you in a minute. So you can stack it up. If you want your hips to touch something, that actually might mean 2 blocks. For some people who have really, really tight, might mean coming up on your pedestal, but it's really nice for the top of your feet. And I've noticed that people walk better because it's helping that rigidity, spasticity that creeps into the ankle area. Let me show you how it looks in the chair just so you can see. Because this is something you could do seated as well. And it looks like this. Either you come to the edge of the chair, don't fall off, and you can take a foot down like that. You can also sit towards the side of the chair and take the foot down. Notice how I'm holding on to the chair, but this will get a stretch. You also could place a block underneath your knee and shin so that the knee and shin have something to rest onto. Notice how the foot is down. You could curl the toes under, but you won't get a stretch in the top of the ankle or front of the ankle then. All right, so I really encourage that if it's accessible to you to do that because it really helps our feet out. Let's go on to our backs for variations of bridge pose. Make sure we get a good back bend in as we start to close our clasp. And it looks like this. Feet are outside our hips. You might be able to touch your fingertips to your heels. And let's start by pushing down through the right foot and feel a toning in the thigh. And then pull the heel towards you and notice how the hamstring tones. And then release and let that go. Now push down through the left foot and release. And let's push down through both feet and lift our hips. Not necessarily all the way up. Try to keep a little softness, like a crease in your hip creases here. And then push down through your feet and feel the toning. And isometrically pull your heels towards your shoulders. Now keep a curve in the back of your neck. You do not want a flat neck like that. I don't know if you can see it. We don't want the back of the neck touching down. So there's a curve there. A little mouse could get underneath there. Exhale, lower your hips down. Breathe in and breathe out. Let's go up again. Push down through your feet, rise up, hips toning, pull heels towards you. You'll really feel your hips toning. Go ahead and touch them. Just check it out. And then exhale, slowly come on down. And one more. Breathe in, breathe out, push down through feet, rise up. Maybe you walk your shoulders underneath you. Some of you might interlace your fingers underneath you. Some of you might do your robot. You're pushing your upper arms down. Vision is skyward. That helps keep our head neutral. And let's release and let that go and find our way to happy baby. Bring your knees in towards you and roll around on your spine. Now this is really nice for the lower spine. Massaging it as you go right and left. And maybe you circle your knees and your hips. Little massage. And then reverse it. Reverse it. Circling one way. And then the other. And then let's pull our knees towards our shoulders. It doesn't mean they're touching our shoulders by any means. And play with your toes. So circle the ankles one way and then the other, maybe pointing and flexing the feet. Then weave your arms inside and wrap around or outside, really. Happy baby doesn't have a lot of rules. And pulling knees towards you will open up your hips a little bit. So the more you open up your knees to the side, the more it becomes a hip opener. Breath is in. And breath is out. And then place your feet down. And we'll find our way to stretching a leg. So you can use a strap around your foot or interlace your fingers behind the thigh. Pushing the heels skyward. Notice how the left knee is bent. Ribs are pushing down towards the earth. Those lower ribs are pushing down. You might point and flex. Let's turn the leg out. So toes are going same way as kneecap. Feel that. Inhale back to center. And go the other way, like a little pigeon toe, and then let your leg fall towards the left a little bit. And then imagine somebody had their hand on your heel and they were pushing that down, and you're going to feel some nice action in the outer part of your leg. stretching action. That is, inhale, leg comes up. Exhale, release, other side. I'll just switch. Make sure you're breathing while you practice your stretching. We're almost ready for our Shavasana. So left knee's in, interlacing fingers behind thigh, pressing footprint upwards. Maybe you pulse it a little bit. Heels pushing upwards, and you can play with pointing and flexing. It will change the stretch, so just notice that. And then let's flex. We're going to turn the leg out. So kneecap and middle of toes are lining up. Stay there for several breaths. Breathe in and out through the nose. And when you're ready, take the toes towards you and inwards just a little bit. And then you're going to cross the left leg over the right. You can use your hand to help, your right hand to help the left leg. Then imagine your hand was on the top of your heel and you were pushing down on it. You're going to feel this leg bone get heavy and down towards the earth. That doesn't mean it's touching, just getting heavy, and that's going to bring the stretch more into the side of the leg. Breathe in and breathe out, and breathe in and breathe out. Back to upright, lowering the leg down, finding our way to our final spinal twist. You get to choose. If you'd like more of a hip opener, then lengthen your right leg, bring your left knee in towards you, and let the knee come over towards the right. And then you might feel this a little bit more in the upper hip. You can use your right hand to gently pull the left knee down. And I'm feeling a nice stretch in the front of this left pec. You can always place a block or a pillow underneath your arm if it's too intense of a stretch. So you're getting a hip opener and the front of your shoulder opener at the same time. And then we'll switch it the other way. So move your hips now to the right, extend the left leg, pull the right knee in towards you, lower it down towards the left, and find your twist. Now you can turn your head the opposite way of your knee. You don't have to. I like pushing the shoulder blade down because that feels really good. If you're feeling any crunching here, you can take your hand in the crease of your hip and thigh and try to get in there and push the skin away if you're feeling any like pinching. Or you could stick a washcloth in there. It's always good to keep a washcloth nearby. And then when you're ready, you're going to find yourself towards your final pose. Now you might want to stop along the way and lay down and lying down butterfly. And I want to remind you that doing something like a folded blanket along your spine is super nice to help open up your shoulders. So I've made this long blanket and then I put it like this. And I'm going to make a little pillow here for the head. And my spine is going to line up. Now you might not want to sit on it. So if I'm at the edge of it, my spine is going to line up with this blanket. And then this is a pillow. If you need it a little higher up, you can make it higher up like that. But the lower you can be, the better for you. So you're going to need to decide that. Your arms can be in more of a cactus pose or arms down by your side and then lying down butterfly. I really should have done this at an angle since I don't have room. I'll do it like that. So it looks like this. And this is a nice place to release and relax. You could have blocks under your knees or your right underneath here to help support. Take several breaths there. You can also keep the blanket for your final resting pose, Shavasana. What's really nice about this blanket under here is it's helping to open up the front of the body. It's gentle enough that you can stay there for a few minutes. You don't have to do it, but it's a super nice thing to do for yourself. You could do it before bed. You could do it when you need a nap time during the day. So take a few moments now in your lying down position or seated position to relax, to allow all the moving that you just did to assimilate. You deserve it. It's really easy to rush to the next activity, but allow yourself to have just a few minutes of transition time with that soft, easy, nice breath. Breathing in and breathing out. In and out through the nose. Belly breathing. Relaxed jaw, relaxed eyelids, relaxed toes and fingers. Feel the heaviness of your hips relaxing into the earth or your chair. Breathe in and out through the nose, without trying to control. Observe the sensation of breathing and relaxing. Letting go. You might say to yourself, inhale, let, and exhale, go. Breathe in and breathe out. Breathing in and breathing out. Stay as long as you want in your resting pose. I'll close our time together with palms at the heart. In a seated position with a tall spine. Bowing in with much gratitude for our time together. May all beings be happy and free, and may our words, deeds, and actions contribute to their happiness and peace. Namaste, everyone. Have a